If you're a zoomer like me, chances are you've never played a Prince of Persia game. Before playing the new installment to the series, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, I only knew of its existence but never knew what type of game it was. Then I saw the trailer for it in the Game Awards and I thought, graphics wise, it looks good, but not sure if it will garner enough attention for non-Prince of Persia fans. I heard from the initial reviews before its actual release that it was good, so I decided to have a go. And sure enough, after 15 hours I made it to the credit screen. But what I didn't expect was this half Metroidvania, half Souls-like game being actually very enjoyable. So, Prince Hassan has been kidnapped and it's up to Sargon, as the newest member of the Immortals, to rescue him. The Immortals travel to Mount Kof to find him and quickly split ways to cover more ground as they delve into the many secrets and paths of the old King Darius' palace. And as I said before, I have never played or really know any of the previous Prince of Persia games, but I was able to follow the story really well and I didn't feel like I was missing any context behind certain story beats. The plot is very simple: rescue Prince Hassan, but the story beats leading up to his rescue were interesting enough for me to be engaged with it. It may not be the most original or thrilling story, but it was enough for me to not skip or quickly skim through dialogue. On that note, I did appreciate the voice acting, especially since it helped me with how to pronounce certain names, and just in general, I think they just did like a wonderful job. And heading into light spoilers here, but my real main issue with the story was that when there were problems among the Immortals and how to deal with things, it seemed like any physical conflicts that happened only happened towards Sargon and among the other people. I think it would really enhance the conflict if we actually see two people get angry with each other without having Sargon get physically involved, but that's really like the only issue I personally had with the story. The graphics are pretty decent. I think you really could see how well it is during boss fights when it changes from like battles to quote-unquote cinematics and then back to battle in one fluid motion. Whether that's like initiated by using skills or like certain phases of bosses or even from certain attacks from the bosses. It's just very smooth, very clean. Graphically, it passes the standard, but it really shines in how every transition of any sort is very clean. The characters are all very distinct and diverse, and they all are voice acted very well. I surprisingly enjoyed the combat. The highlights of the combat were during the boss fights, and I had tons of fun doing those. The boss fights are kind of what you typically see in like a Souls-like game, where you spend a good amount of time dodging attacks and are given small windows to deal damage. Of all the main bosses to fight, I enjoyed all of them except for one towards the end. And another thing I liked was that when you die, you go straight into the next attempt almost instantly. There's no spawning back at a checkpoint, then traveling across the map to fight the boss again, like what you see something like from Hollow Knight. And I love this very much, and it helps me apply what I learned from my death instantly and be able to clear the boss. I think people who are experienced in Souls games won't have any problems with the bosses. People that aren't that experienced may have problems, especially towards like the latter end. But the great thing about this is that there are a good variety of difficulty that you can tweak. There are 4 difficulties in total, which boils down to like easy, normal, hard, and very hard. And there's even a custom difficulty in which you can tweak certain things such as like parry difficulty, enemy damage, health, and etc. So if you don't want the challenge but still want to experience the fights, you can lower the difficulty to your liking, which is great for anyone that's new to the series, such as myself. And even though I did enjoy the boss fights, I did think the normal mobs that you see when exploring have a tad bit too much HP. It kind of sucks flying around, doing parkour sections, just to then come to a screeching halt when you meet an enemy. At first, I was killing them as I saw them, but then towards the latter half of the game, I tried to ignore them and skip past any enemy that I saw. Not because they were hard, but because I'm in a mindset of always moving for like the next wall jump or the next grapple or whatever, and stopping that mindset to then spend like the next like 10 seconds killing the simplest enemy like really annoyed me. Exploring Mount Kof is the biggest highlight of this game. There are tons of paths, secrets, puzzles, and side quests that you can do. Several distinct and very cool zones offer an array of different challenges. I think anyone who is a completionist will love exploring this. I myself, I'm not a completionist, but from the things that I've stumbled upon, they were pretty fun. To me, if I ever decide to 100% the game, I'll actually enjoy doing everything and not worry about it like feeling tedious or anything. Mostly because the parkour sections are really fun. You learn tons of skills that are mostly used for traversing through Mount Kof. They aren't anything that you haven't seen. That includes like mid-air jump, air dash, and even a grappling hook. Especially the more traversal skills that you learn, you have to string different skills into one fluid motion to get through certain sections. It may sound hard or look hard, but just playing it, it felt natural. It felt very responsive and it felt exhilarating. I never felt truly stuck on any of the parkour sections, as you are never severely punished for messing up, and I quickly learned from my mistake. And if you really are truly stuck, there is an option in the settings to skip parkour sections, but I doubt you'll ever need to do that. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is overall a well-made game. Exploring Mount Kof was a lot of fun, from zooming through all the parkour sections to dying constantly to some bosses. I had tons of fun and had my money's worth. Anyone who has played any Metroidvania games, especially games like Hollow Knight, 100% should check this game out. It feels very smooth, very responsive on the platforming sections. The storyline was intriguing enough to stay engaged with it, along with very distinct zones that highlight all the oddities of the old King Darius' palace. For only $50 on the Epic Game Store, this is one of the games that you must play for in 2024, as this is potentially a really good contender for Game of the Year so far. And after playing The Lost Crown, if they decide to make another Prince of Persia game, I will 100% be excited about it and be there for it on day one. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video if you like this type of content, and if you have any suggestion for any game that you want me to play, you can leave a comment down below or come join the Discord in the link below that I'm active in. See you guys later.